right, shall we get it underway? I'm assuming everybody's ready. I'm assuming everyone that's tuned in's got their bottle handy and nearby. I'll just keep that right there where I can grab it, maybe as a reminder to you guys that I've got it there, and you should have your own nice and close. And let's kick it off. So we're just going to do some ankle flex to start with. So weight on one leg, weight on your left, nice free leg on the right. And we're just going to do the spaghetti leg, doing little circles between our toes and our forefoot. 3, 2, 1, and the other way. You'll have to excuse my voice tonight. It's a little bit on the it's had enough side after talking all day at work. 3, 2, 1, and change. So we'll shift our weight over, circles on the other. Use that camera that you've got to see if you can get that good spaghetti legs type look going on when you get a good circle going. 2, 1, and change direction. Taking the ankle right through that range without any real load on it at the moment. All right, then we're going to take a stance that's just ever so slightly wider. If this is neutral with straight legs, we're going to go slightly wider than that. We're going to put our hands on our knees and do knee circles. And while we do that knee circle, we feel our weight without taking any part of our shoe off the ground. We should feel our weight rolling around the shoe. So it goes down one side of your foot, across, shifts across through the heel, goes up the other side of your foot, and then shifts across through the forefoot. So be aware of where the pressure is between your foot and the floor as we do these. We'll go 3, 2, 1, and we're going to change direction. And I'm feeling that the pressure is moving across my heels, up the sides of my feet, across the forefoot, and back down the sides of my feet to my heels. Just the same as if I had to manipulate the pressure on my skates to change my edges from landing the skate and shifting my weight over it to starting to push outwards with it. 3, 2, 1, and done. All right, we're going to be jogging on the spot with those light taps behind, making sure we're just jogging on the forefoot, not putting pressure anywhere further forward than the ball of our foot. So our toes aren't getting mashed down into the bottom of our shoes, and our toes are never really being pressed hard on the floor. So just a super light tap behind and a short contact from your forefoot on the floor. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to go front onto the camera. Now we're going to do those slight taps to the outside. Now I'm bouncing on my forefoot and I'm tapping the forefoot lightly out beside me. And I'm checking my camera to make sure that my feet are pointing straight towards the camera, even when they're in the air and when they're tapping down on the outside. Same as when we push with our skates, we want to keep the skate lined up with where we want to go. We don't want to push it so that it heads off in a different direction to where we're going. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to tap out the front on the heel. Still just the forefoot at the back. And light heel taps in front of us. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to go front on again. Now this time, when we're going to bounce on the forefoot. When we pick the foot up, it stays pointing straight. It goes around in a circle, comes back in from the back, touches on the forefoot again, and does that same loop. So that loop looks like this. It taps down, out and around, and back in. It's like a miniature skating stroke. So we go. Try and keep the feet closed so we're not opening them up. Little circle that arrives back in to tap just in time and it comes in from behind us. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, we're going to move over to one side of our space right now. So move over to the right-hand side of the space that you have. We're going to cross over from side to side, still just bouncing on the forefoot, not using our toes, but using the forefoot pressure on the ground. So we're going to step into the space, cross over, step to the edge of the space, and immediately bounce back, stepping into the space, crossing over, and stepping out to the side. Always shoulders forward, hips forward, and feet forward. Let's go. So we need good postural strength, particularly when we change direction. We're always crossing over in front, one leg crossing over in front of the other leg. But we need strength and stability, particularly when we change direction. We should, whether we're going at a fast speed side to side or a slow one, the amount of time our foot spends on the ground is really short. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and done. Staying on the right-hand side of your space again, we're going to do some hurdle walking, thinking about a hurdle that was just the same height as your hip bones. If you had your hands on your hips, we're going to step over it with both feet, and then we're going to duck under it and slide underneath to move towards the other side of our space. And a second step over in the same direction and under, and that brings us to the left-hand side. We go back to the right, over, over, slide under and come up, over, over, slide under and come up, out and back again, over, over, slide under, come up, over, over, slide under and come up, getting our bum as low as we can. Last time across. And underneath. All right, back to the middle of our space right now. So if this is our neutral straight down leg, we're going to step out into a nice strong stance. Hands on hips, use your camera to keep your head in one space. Let's take your hips on the biggest loop orbit they can go on. Try to use your camera to keep your head pretty still. Pressing your hips out to the left limit, round to the back limit, out to the right limit, and across the front limit. The biggest circle you can make. Another 2 laps. And 1 lap. And changing direction. Same again, really feel the hip getting extended the whole time you're out there and holding that head nice and still. Oh, my hip is sore. 2 to go. 1 to go. And done. All right, so some power leg swings we're going to do now. Remember, we're not trying to get the leg swinging and just keep it swinging like so. We want to hold it hovering just off the ground. We want to drive it up and control it down, drive it back and control it back. So there's a pause every time we get to that center low position, and we're trying to drive it in both directions with a straight leg and hold our posture nice and still. So we'll start out with our right leg, get side onto the camera so you can keep an eye on yourself. And 1 count is once up the front, once up the back. Remember, we drive up and we control it back slowly so it doesn't fall. Here we go. 1 and back. 2, back. 3, back. 4, back. 5, back. 6, back. 7, and back. 8, back. 9, and back. 10, and back. All right, changing over to the other leg now. So nice and stable. On our right leg, we're going to drive our left one up. 1, back, 2, back. It's about keeping your body nice and still and controlling that trip back each time. 5, 6. Depending if you're on Rough's garage or not right now, you should be sort of starting to get your sweat on a 23-degree day like today. 8, 9, and 10. Okay, turning back now, we're going to go front onto the camera. We're going to do that driving up to the side and then across the body. This one's really all about you having strength in the hip to drive it up really high and control in the hip muscles to bring it back. You can see yourself in the camera, so you should be able to see if you're only getting it out here or whether you're getting the thing right up high compared to you. You should aim for increasing amounts of range every time we do this, week in, week out, because it's going to help you skating. Make sure you're clear enough from something on the side that you're not going to collect it with your leg. We'll go with our right leg out to the side first. Here we go. 1, and across. 2, across. 3, and across. 4, across. 5, across. 6, across. 7, across. 8, across. 9, across. 10, and across. Let's shuffle if we need to so we don't hit anything on our left side. We'll load up on that right leg and we'll go swinging our left now. Here we go. 1, and across. 2, and across. I'm having a far better time with my left side. Could have a little something to do with crashing on the indoor on my right, but maybe not. 4, 5, and I'm a lot more steady this way too. 6, 7, 8. Really use that camera like a mirror. 9, check your technique, check your posture. 10, check how much range you're getting. You should be able to compare yourself week in, week out. Good job. All right, let's grab that bottle. Taking a quick drink. We're going to hit the floor for some Turkish get up. I'll go diagonally across this space. That might help you see how I'm doing these. And of course, that's about how much space I have. So we're going to be lying on our back. Bottle is being held in our right hand to start. Our job is to keep that bottle pointed up. You want to treat it like you're coming up and down into the water, and we've got to keep the bottle up and keep it dry. All right, so we do this one step at a time. We'll step through it a couple of times slowly, and then we'll start smoothing it out and speeding it up. Here we go. So not using our hand here, we're going to sit up, put the free hand back, put the opposite knee up. So you got right hand has got the bottle, your right knee's up, and your left hand's back. We're going to drive into that right leg to pick the leg up, and we're going to swing it through diagonally underneath onto a knee. And we're going to get up straight, bring your hand up, and drive up onto the front leg till we're standing up tall. We're going to go back in the reverse direction. So it's left knee down and across, left hand down. Drive that leg out and sit down. Legs out straight, hand in, and we lie back down. And then we're going to change hands, holding it in our left. We're going to sit up, put the right hand back, pick the left knee up, drive into the leg, swing the free leg under and across, get up straight, and stand up straight. Nice. Knee back and across, hand down, drive out, sit down, legs out, lay down. All right, let's smooth it out and we'll go see if we can knock a minute or so out. Here we go. Change hands to the right and sit up, hand, knee, drive, switch, up and stand and backwards. Knee down, hand, drive and sit, lay down. Change. Sit up, hand, knee, drive, knee, up straight and stand and reverse. Knee down, hand, drive out, sit down, lay down. All right, here we go with a bit of smooth speed. We're going to sit up, hand, knee, drive, up straight, stand up, kneel down, hand, drive, sit, lay down, change. Sit up, hand, knee, drive, switch, up and stand, knee, hand, drive and sit, lay down, change. Sit, hand, knee, drive, switch, up and stand, kneel, hand, drive, sit and lay down. Switch, sit, hand, knee, drive, switch, up and stand, kneel, hand, switch, sit and lay down. Good job, gang. Quick drink. And let's get into it. So a little bit of a change tonight. We're going to bring 2 additional leg exercises in, so we end up with 6 leg exercises in total. And the last couple of weeks, when we've introduced the dynamic or the more explosive leg exercises, we've been trying to do them powerfully. We're gonna do them a little less powerfully tonight, but a little more often. So more repetitions, but a little less power, so that we're suiting things to the demands of the marathon that we've got coming up in 17 days from today. All right, so the first one we're going to do is nice and basic skate swings. That's going to get our arms swinging. We can concentrate on having that good arm swing form and timing it with some pulsing that we're going to be doing. So you can decide whether you want to be front onto the camera or side on. We're going to do 2 sets. So it's not too fast, but what I would say is do 1 set front on and another set side on, so you can check yourself both ways. Remember the arm swing that we're shooting for. So the posture is always hips rotated under, so there's a gentle curve in our lower back. And it's nice and hollow in here. There's some space to slide my arm through without pinching it between my legs and my belly by tipping my bum in the air. So there's a hollow and a curve. And those arms, we want to have a flat hand. We're going to fold the fingers in. We're going to put the thumb on it. And that thumb is at the top when it's opposite our ear. And the little finger is at the top when we swing back and away. And we should see a line that runs from that hand all the way through this arm at the front. So when we look from the front, we almost make a big long tick shape between one arm and the other. When we switch, our wrists go past our knees and we make that big tick shape the other way. From side on, it's going to look like this. So I'm not pushing my elbow out to make that straight line. So the straight line is one that you see from the front through here. But from the side, I'm swinging it across my chest and up, 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 up. Now we're going to time that. So we're going to get in a powerful stance. And every time we get low, we're going to have our wrists go past our knees. And then we're going to start coming up. And when we're at the top, we're in an arm swing position again. As we get down to the lowest position, our wrists come past our knees or past our shins down here. As we get into the high position again, arm swing. So low to change, top to get to the pose. Low to change, top to get to the pose. All right, here we go. We'll do the first one front on. Nice solid stance. Set up that body with a hollow at the belly and a curve in the lower back. And here we go. And as long as when we get to the top, we're not letting our legs get perfectly straight, we should have still plenty of knee bend. It's like the low power position and the high recovery position. We're in the skating position all the time. Right now, we should start feeling our thighs burning a little bit. We're at the 30-second mark. I'm going to keep going till a minute. Feel that pressure in your feet. Make sure it's not going to your toes. It's mostly in the ball of the foot or just behind, right where your second wheel would be. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and done. All right, good job. Let's recover those legs. You remember the routine. We're going to rock from side to side with some butt kicks. 3 times each side. Going to rock side to side with some knee lifts. This is stretching out your butt as we do these ones. And we're going to keep rocking side to side and shake the water off. Let's try and loosen those muscles and help take some of the tension out of them. Let them get supple again to recover before we go again. So kick back, stretching the front side. Knee lifts, stretching the back side. And shake the water off to try and loosen things out. All right, let's get ready to go again. Same, we're going to go side on this time. So we can check our posture and position in the mirror, making sure when we get to the top position that we're not too straight, where we don't want to turn the muscle tension off and let the legs relax. We want to keep tension all the time. So when we get to the top, we should be about here. When we get to the bottom, we should dig right down. All right, here we go for 1 minute again. And go. Switch on the low position. Hit the pose on the high position. "25 seconds to go." It's going to feel longer this time because your legs are already a little tired. Keep that pressure just towards the back of the ball of your feet. Don't let it go onto the toes. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and done. Good job. All right, straight into recovery mode, rocking and kicking back. Knees up to the front. And shake it out. Go through again, kick back. Knees up. Three and three, and shake the water off. And 3 and 3. All right, you can have a quick drink. So that's our first exercise done. Now, the way we're doing the exercises tonight, the way they're going to make you feel, it might not make you so immediately puffed and gasping for air as when we do it more explosively, but what it's going to feel is like it's filling your legs up. So your legs should feel like they're getting bigger and getting a bit heavy, and that's all the blood ending up in the muscles that are doing the work. And of course, it gets harder to recover because it gets full of lactic acid and the byproducts of making that energy. And we're trying to get some of that, keep moving all the time. So some of that feeling, because of the chemicals that are in there, that your bloodstream and the processes that go on in your legs can flush that out and get you ready to work again. All right, so our next exercise is the bench spring. So that's where we're going to move from side to side in the space. It's a bit of a jumping exercise, but we're doing it with the inside leg. So we almost imagine it as if I was about to do a crossover, I would power off this front leg, move my weight over to there, and I'd start springing my weight to the left so that I could cross over. Now, what we're going to do is that kind of exercise to throw us this way with the leading leg, but without crossing over. So what it's going to look like is you'll be in the skating position, you'll shift your weight to this leg and spring off it, and then land over the other side. So the leg that we take off will first land with this leg. So you'll take off from this one and land this one, and then the outside. So we take off the inside, land on the new inside, and then outside. Yep, so it's almost a crossover. We're just not going to cross over. Okay, so we're going to do this continuously for 1 minute. So that's quite difficult. We don't need to be really exploding up in the air, but we need to feel that this leg does a bit of work to pull our weight towards it. So we use the inside of the leg to pull our weight towards it, and then we explode off the thigh and the glute to be able to send us across. And once we're across, same thing, we shift over, spring, and land in the new position. When we spring, we don't let our body come up in the air. We carry ourselves in the skating position. So we're going side to side, but I'm staying in the skating position the whole time. Okay, so let's get over into the right-hand side of our space. We're going to start off moving to the left. This will feel like a long minute. Remember, off skate is only a powerful training tool if you try and do everything perfectly and you try and relate it as closely as you can to your skating. That's how we get the transfer. All right, so we're just going to do it at a steady, continuous rhythm, non-stop with good technique for a minute. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, and go. Staying in that skating position, get a feel for what your lower back's doing. Should stay in that curve. Our hips are tucked under. We've got a hollow in our belly. So there's a gentle curve in our lower back. Don't get caught trying to take off from your toes. When you get tired, it'll be easy to let your weight slip forward. We want to stay in a good position. Keeps us balanced over our skates. 10 seconds to go. And done. Good job. We should be breathing reasonably now. We're going to go into that recovery mode. Trying to shake those legs out. Give them a stretch as we go side to side and front to back. Shaking the water out. If you're anything like me, you should be breathing pretty heavy, whether you had to do the talking during that exercise or not. That's probably got your heart rate up, not because we were going really hard, but because that constant work starts meaning that the muscles need a lot of blood to be able to keep the work going on. And to get that blood going and oxygenated blood to them, our heart needs to work harder to pump more of it. And we need to breathe heavier to push the oxygen into that blood that the muscles need. All right, so that's one set of bench springs. We're going to go into a second set. Okay, so we're going to start over the right-hand side of that space again. Remember, the leg that's doing the real work to pull your weight over and take off is always the leading leg during this exercise. And then we just concentrate on controlling the landing smoothly and then using the new lead leg to squeeze us over and take off. Okay, here we go for one more minute. 3, 2, 1, and go. Feel for the cues that you need, whether they come from your hip rotation or your belly or the feeling in your lower back or shoulders. But look for those indicators that tell you you're in a good skating position from the waist up, and make sure that we hold it with the minimum effort. I'm going to switch to side on. Nearly there, 13 seconds left. 4, 3, 2, 1, and done. Good job. And again into recovery mode. Let yourself breathe nice and relaxed. Kicking up the back. Knees up the front to stretch the backside. And shaking that water off. And once through again. Doing well, gang. What we're going to do at the end of this tiny little recovery period is I'll cut the video and restart, and we'll come back in to push for that last 25 minutes. All right. Doing well, gang. So into another one. So again, we're not going, I'll just keep stressing this, we're not going for the most explosive stuff we can do. We're going for that continuous workload with perfect technique. Okay, the work's going to come to you because by the time we go through all the exercises, we'll have done about 12 minutes of quite intensive leg stuff. And you know, that's the kind of work that we're shooting for tonight. The kind of thing that's a continuous effort without much let up. And I guess you can compare it in a little way to like skating one of the long straights out at Casey Fields. You get in the marathon, you come out of a corner. We love our corners, and of course we get to do tons of those. But when the straight opens out, and it might be slightly uphill the whole way, Casey Fields, it's probably quite often windy. It's going to mean that you feel like you're doing continuous work for quite a period of time before you get the relief from a corner. You know, when we're on indoor, we get corner relief every 5 seconds, but in fact, it's less. Corner takes us about 3 seconds to do. So we get corner relief about every 2 or 3 seconds of going down a straight. When we go out to Uni Hill, we used to, you know, lap in the 35s through 40s. So we're getting corner relief 4 times in that time. So a long straight out there was probably taking about 7 seconds. So it's very different to Casey Fields, where you could be plugging away for 1.5 minutes before you see another corner. And that's the kind of feeling I want to be putting into our legs tonight. So we're going to do skate jumps now, very similar to the last exercise. With the skate jump though, of course, we load up on the outside leg and we take off from that and hop over to the other side and land and control it before we take off again to this side. Because we're going continuous for 1 minute, we don't need to see how high and far we can go. We just need to continue providing that load that picks our body up and allows us to put it down in another place, not stepping to the other place and shifting our body weight, but lifting up and over, actually jumping ourselves over there. Now mine are going to be pretty poor because I've got a sore hip that doesn't like this, but you guys know what you're doing. The most important part is controlling your posture and carrying that skate position unbroken all the time. We're going to go for 1 minute. Here we go. Remember, finding that posture, hips are rotated under. We've got a hollow in the belly and a gently stretched lower back. And we're going for 1 minute. Off we go. Don't let your toes do the work. Remember, we're looking for pressure at the forefoot or just behind it. That's coming off that second wheel. We don't want to get up onto the front wheel because then we're not using our skate to the best of its ability to help us. Whew. Three, two, one, done. Good job. Let's recover that. Probably got your heart rate and your breathing up there by the time we get into the last 10 or 20 seconds of that exercise. Shaking it out. Now we'll go through another set, kicking up the back. Knees up the front. And you'll notice I'm not letting us recover for a particularly long period of time between the leg exercises tonight. So I'm not breaking it up too much with stuff that puts us on the floor and gives our legs a complete break, because that's not the feeling that you're going to have at Casey Fields. You might get 5 or 6 seconds of corner work, followed by anywhere between 30 seconds and 1.5 minutes of straight line work. So you won't get much time to feel like you bring the workload on the legs down. And we want to get our body used to that feeling. It's very different to indoor. It's very different to Dandenong outdoor. Let's go again for 1 minute. Remember, posture is the most important thing. More important than how high and far you go is being able to deliver that power without having to twist or throw your body open or around to do it. Let's go in 3, 2, 1, and away. That's halfway. I'm going to turn side on for you. Keeping those toes from doing the work. And done. Good job. Let's recover that. Doing well, gang. I'm sure it's not just because microphones are off that things are a little bit quiet. Your legs should be asking for plenty of oxygenated blood by the ends of those. That's going to get the heart rate up and the breathing up to the point that you probably feel as you get out towards the end of the minute that if you had to talk, you could only talk in short bursts. And that's the kind of work that we're going for. Not the kind that has us finish gasping and unable to speak and needing these ones, because the marathon doesn't give you a lot of opportunity for those ones. We've got to measure our efforts and be able to be consistently strong and economical at the same time, because we're not throwing our body around in any way that costs us energy. All right, so we're going to do our drop jumps after this one. So we're going to do a set of drop jumps. Now, remember, with the drop jumps, we're looking for a pre-jump, which is just a little one that takes us over and causes our body to fall into the first jump. So we could do the first jump like this by squatting and taking off, just like we're trying to powerfully spring up and slam dunk a basketball. In the drop jump, we're accentuating that by adding a little drop to make it more powerful and take a little bit more effort to change direction and rebound into a jump. All right, we're going to do these continuously for 1 minute. So they don't need to be the most powerful ones you've ever done. We want a short range drop down into a power position. Don't go too low so you're slow to come out of the hole, but we go down into a power position, arms back, drive up, and that should take us a longer distance until we come down into a nice soft landing. Once we get that landing, we're going to turn around, reset, drop, jump, and soft landing. Turn around, drop, jump, and soft landing. Keep it composed, keep good technique, be soft on your landings because your knees and ankles need to be able to thank you for this. All right, so it's not the most powerful you can do. This is continuous work for 1 minute. And I'm working, if maybe like you guys are, diagonally across my space to make sure I've got enough. Here we go for a minute. Don't forget the drops. And away. Make sure that power is going through the ball of your feet, not your toes. Ten seconds left. Last one. Good job. Let's recover that. Well done, gang. The knees up. Shake the water out. Now we're going to put some of that jog and tap back in right now. Slightly change up the recovery a little bit. Now that the work volume's gotten a little bit higher. Go out to the sides. Let yourself feel relaxed, but those touchdowns are just on the ball of the foot. A nice short contact happening with a broken knee. Let's get them out the front on the heel. Okay, quick drink. And then we're going into set 2 of those drop jumps. All right, over to one side of your space. Here we go for another continuous minute. 3, 2, 1, off we go. 20 seconds. Last one. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Let's recover that. Good job. Getting towards the tail end now. Knees up. Water off. Go through again. Kick back. So the way we're putting the off skate together tonight, there ends up being a little more of a aerobic component to it as well, because once we get up and going, we don't get much of an opportunity to bring our heart rate right back down or bring our breathing right back down. So for our systems that supply that working blood and all that oxygen to our muscles, that system's on the go the whole time because the recoveries are nice and short, and we keep moving all the time. So we're moving into our split jumps now. So we do a modified split jump at the moment, and that's where we step into the position, do a single split jump and drive back up to standing. That's the way we're still going to keep doing them tonight. And we're not going to do any continuous split jumping just yet. So that means we're going to stand on at one side of our space. We're going to step out and into a skating position in the box stance. Most of our pressure's on that front leg. We're going to use the front leg to drive up so that we can switch legs and land in the opposite box stance with the opposite arm swing, and then use the front leg to drive back and be standing up again. So if I do one repetition through both sides, it looks like this. Step out, split jump, drive back. Go out with the other leg, step out, split jump, drive back. Make sure you catch those split jumps nice and controlled. Don't slam back down to the ground, or don't suddenly try and stop them too quickly. That'll give you a lot of muscle discomfort tomorrow. So let's keep it controlled, perfect position. The main thing is get down into a clean box stance in the skating position and use your power to drive that skating position up so that when you leave the ground, you can switch legs and the legs are almost straight, hanging beneath you because there's space between you and the ground. And then we come down and land in a controlled box stance again. We're going to go for 1 minute. I'll talk you through the beginning so we set up a tempo and we remember what we're doing with our legs. We're going to step out with the right leg first. Here we go. Step out, switch, drive back. Now we're going to step out with the left. Step out, switch, drive back. Stepping out with the right again. Step out, switch, drive back. Stepping out with the left again. Step out, switch, drive back. All right, let's keep it up. That's 35 seconds to go. We don't come up out of the skating position unless we're standing up. We don't come out of it during the switch. Fifteen seconds to go. And done. Good job. Let's recover that. And it helps when we're doing these ones to keep our head down, kind of looking at the ground. That's going to tend to help us keep that curve in our back when we do the split jump or we do the leg switch. Because often if we're looking up, we end up doing switches and coming up like this while we're switching. We want to stay in that rolled up skating position even when we're in the air and we come back down. So we're going to try and do that by, like we talk about on the indoor, turning our head at 45 so our eyes can look down. When we keep our head down, it's easy to keep the curve in our lower back. 10 seconds and then we go again. All right. I'm sweating. I don't know about you guys. Maybe it's good to be in the garage right now, Raph, with a bit of breeze. All right, getting onto one side of your space. Set up to go. We're going to step out with the left to start and go. Step out, switch, push back. Stepping out with the left, switch and back. So let's keep that back rolled up and the head down. Seconds to go. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, done. Good job. All right, recovering that one. Our last exercise will be our next U-Butte new one. Whew. And we're nearly home and hove. How are we going? Thumbs up if we're going okay. Traveling all right, everyone? Yeah. Everyone's still right side up, so that's encouraging. Now our next one is continuous, but it's very slow and controlled, and it's very specific because the muscles that we have to turn on to do the job, we need to do it slowly. Otherwise, we compensate for the muscle that we can't activate by using a muscle that's really easy to activate. Okay, so what I want you to do, if you have one available, if you don't, that's okay, but if you have one available, I want you to get hold of something to use as a step. Now that thing that you're using as a step, I don't want it to be any higher than below your calf muscle. So if you can't find something that low, don't worry too much about it. We can work from the floor, but otherwise, if you've got a step, we can work from the step. I'm going to do the first set working from the step, and then I'll do the second set working from the floor. So I'll give you a minute to get hold of something or find something suitable. Doesn't matter if it's really low. As long as you can step onto it and stand on it, it'll be stable. I don't mind if it's only a couple of inches high, that's fine. But the important thing is that it's absolutely no higher than your sock would probably go. We don't want anything higher than that. Okay. All right, give you another 30 seconds in case someone's walked out a shot to get something. Raf's got a whole garage full of stuff there, so I can feel his mind working as he rifles through things. All right. So as long as we've got something that's no taller than sock height, we're good to go. Now, this exercise, a little bit like the bench springs, we do all the work with the leading leg. Yeah, so when we did bench springs and we shifted our weight to the leading leg and sprung up off it, we're going to use a similar technique here, but we're going to focus on how much work is being done by the inside of the lead leg. So what we're doing is this. We start on one side of the step or one side of your space if we're in the space. Get into the skating position and we're going to put one foot up on the step. The reason we haven't chosen a high one is I don't want our hip line to do this. Yeah, I don't want us to have our hips tipped over like we were talking about at indoor last night we want level hips, and I want to work with level hips up off the floor. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to put one foot into that space. We're going to keep level hips with a wide stance. We're going to shift towards this side and not use this leg at all to take off. So we're not going to spring up onto the box. We're going to draw ourselves up onto the box by dragging this leg and then coming up until we're still broken at the knee, but we're in that high skating position. And then we're going to lower and slide out and away. So we slide back. I use the inside of this front leg to draw me up onto the box and bring my feet together. And then I'm going to step down and slide away. If I'm in a space and I don't have a box, same rules apply. I'm going to step into the center of the space, so I've got a wide stance. I'm focusing on my hips being level, and I'm going to be really low. I'm going to slide my weight across, and I'm going to pull with the inside of this leg to start lifting me up and bringing this foot in till it's sitting alongside. And then I'm going to let myself lower and reach out, and then I'm going to slide back out to that side. Okay, all of the work's being done here. We do it really slowly, so it's a struggle to stay stable. We're going to go for 1 minute on one side and then 1 minute on the other. I'll do one side on the box and the other side in space. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Try and keep up with how slowly I'm doing it, because that's important. So we slide towards this leg. Now we start drawing hard with this leg. Keep the knee control and lift and bring our feet together. And we lower and we can reach out, flat hips, and we slide across to the outside. Start sliding in and we start pulling like we're trying to drag our feet together, and we draw ourselves up and extend almost to straight. We lower ourselves down, reach, and slide over to that leg. Slide back, pull, squeeze them together and draw yourself up till the legs are nearly together and nearly straight. And we go slowly back down, reaching out, and slide over to finish. Coming back slowly, only 10 seconds left. This will be the last one. Drag our feet together and squeeze up slowly. Lower, 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 and reach and slide across, flat and level. And we're done with one side. Good job. So it's really important when we do this that no part of the action is any faster than another part. So Raf, if you're working with the box, there shouldn't be a part where you go and whoop, and then it goes slowly again. That whole point where you come off the ground and start drawing them together, it all happens super slowly. So a little bit of recovery for another 30 seconds, and we're going to work the other side. And this time I'll just work in space without the step. But I want you to keep in mind for next week, during the week, keep your eye out for something around the house that you can use as a suitable step. You're looking for something that's about sock height, anywhere between ankle high and halfway up your shin. We don't want anything higher than that, because we don't want to step onto something that brings our hip up too close to level with our knee, because then we have to compensate by springing off the outside leg, and we don't want to do that at all. All right, here we go. Let's move to the other side of the space. We're going to work off the other leg now. Everything happens slowly. So the movement is, your focus is keeping your hips flat and level, whether you move across, whether we're coming up, whether we're coming down and reaching out, and whether we slide back. We're never letting our hips tip side to side. Okay, that's rule number one. Number two is we use our leg muscles to shift our weight initially. Once our weight starts getting over to this side, we start almost pulling our legs together like we're trying to do a scissor, and the floor is going to not let us do it. And as we keep that scissor pressure on, we keep moving our weight over, dragging our feet together until we're dragging this one up off the ground to bring them together and come up to almost straight. So we start out really low, and I shift over to this side. I'm pulling at my feet now to try and bring them together. And as this one comes off the ground, I start raising up as it comes into me They're side by side, but my knee's not straight. And then I'm going to slowly lower it and reach out and slide flat over to the other leg. Here we go, 1 minute. 3, 2, 1, off we go. So a slow, flat shift. Start pulling your feet towards each other. Let's start rising up on the new leg, letting our feet come close together. Get into the high position. Now we're going to start lowering, reaching out. We touch down really low and we flat shift across to the other side. Start shifting back. As we get our weight towards the lead leg, we start pulling our legs together and we start extending. Really slow and controlled, keeping our toes from doing the work. Now we're going back down, reaching, 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 touch gently and flat shift over. Shifting back to the working leg. As we get close to it, pulling our feet together. As we keep pulling them together, we start extending. Picks the outside one up off the ground, starts bringing it towards the other one. We get into the high position, start lowering, reaching out, touch it down with no weight and start that shift back over. All right, last 5 seconds. Last one, shift, 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 keeping it flat. Pull your feet towards each other. Start extending the working leg. We bring them together as we rise up. And then we're going to bring them apart as we come down. Reach out, touch it gently and start that flat shift over to it. Good job, and we're done. All right, give them a kick back. I'm sweating my tail off right now. I don't know about you guys. Those slow, controlled exercises tend to squeeze the sweat out of you. Knees up. I'm going to shake the water out. Let's do that jog with the reverse tap. The leg we've just been working last is probably feeling about twice as tight and twice as sore as the non-working leg from the last exercise, but that's normal. Full up with blood and lactic acid right now. Let's change those taps out to the side. I need to apologize to Jo, because as we move into marathon mode tonight, became very leg heavy. She's going to hate me tomorrow. Let's go to the front, taps on the heel. We're still agile, even though that we've got tired legs. We can just tap and spring off the ball of the foot, keeping our toes relaxed, and a light touch with the heel out in front. Good stuff. And you know what, just for good measure, we're going to finish with one last one on the floor, because we've just gone so hard on the legs. Let's come down and we'll just do one set of Russian twists to finish off, I reckon. I think my hips can probably handle that. All right, we'll use our bottles for the Russian twist. This is the bit where you're on a winner if you've drunk more than the next person, making your bottle a bit lighter. So remember, we're looking for not your sit bones, which are here, not your lower back, which is back here. We're trying to find that hovering spot in the middle. At a minimum, we want 90 degrees here and 90 degrees here. But if you can extend a little bit, all the better. The more you extend, the more you'll find your body vibrating and struggling to hold that position. And we're looking for 20, and tapping on one side and tapping on the other is one count. We're going to hold the bottle with both hands to do that. We're going to keep our body and our feet in space as still as we possibly can, like someone else is watching us and trying to find out if we're moving or not. Here we go. So set it up, get in that hover position, and let's go. Touch, 1, touch, 2. This should be easy now. We haven't done any abs tonight. 3, touch, 4, touch, 5, touch, 6, touch, 7, touch, 8, touch, 9, touch, 10. That's halfway. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, nearly there, 18, 19, and 20. Killed it. Well done, everybody. So your legs are really going to let you know about this workout. There wasn't too many new exercises from what we've been doing, but we went from doing the leg stuff explosively to the leg stuff continuously. And it's those timed longer efforts that build up the lactic. So while you won't have the kind of soreness you would have had from just doing explosive efforts, like a little bit of muscle damage that you get from explosive efforts, which is normal for training, but instead you'll get that residual soreness and tiredness from those long, we've spent a lot of collective minutes doing some really heavy leg work. So tonight, that 3-minute plus easy jog is really important. Doesn't have to be anything exciting, just easy, ticking it over jogging to keep the blood flowing, keep the muscles gently working under a tiny bit of load, just enough to keep pumping the blood through and letting the body get the byproducts of the waste from the work out of your muscles. Once you've done that 3 to 5 minute jog, get yourselves back on the carpet, maybe grab something to eat, and keep eating and drinking, stretch for 10 or 15 minutes, and your legs are going to thank you for it tomorrow. All right, well done, everybody.